Chapter 5 with Marco. Okay, maybe it was a little immature to sneak into Darlene's party as a mouse, but you didn't hear what she said about me. Me and Axe morphed into a vacant lot a block away, then we toddled over on little mouse legs to the party. Of course, first we had to get used to the mouse morph. See, when you morph, you don't get the animal's body, you get its brain too, and most brains are loaded with instincts, usually hunger and fear. The mouse had a lot of each. He was very obsessed about food and he's one scared little animal. It was often that way when you first morph a new species. As soon as Axe and I achieved mousehood, those instincts kicked in. Run, 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 run! The mouse didn't like being on the open, broad daylight, scared predators, very scared. Run, run! So he ran. It was like 1 minute you're a normal human thinking, midnight fasting, shrieking down like just growing a tail, having whiskers. The next minute that mouse been cased in, suddenly you're charged up with energy like 1,000 cups of coffee. On top of 1,000 bowls of Captain Crunchy, you're energized. I can't control this creature, Axe wailed. It's insane. Just go, I said. I'll chill out eventually. Let me tell you, mice can move on those little legs like being strapped on a front bumper of an Indy 500 car. Zoom! We haul butt, zipping around in wild terror over leaves of grass as big as trees, pieces of gravel the size of beach balls, and bugs the size of collies. That much I'm used to. I've morphed small creatures before. But what was sick is I really wanted to stop and eat some of those bugs. There's this one beetle kind of bluish back, and mouse bear was like, ooh, lunch. But it's more terrified than hungry, so I just kept going like out-of-control lunatics. I missed out on a flavor of bug. Eventually I would get some control. Axe, you okay? May I send thought speak? I am fine, but these mice have very powerful instincts. Yeah, scary little things, aren't they? Animals develop instincts for a good reason, Axe said darkly. This mouse is cautious, it probably has good reason. Well, if we see him, cats will just morph back. Yes, if we live long enough. Yeah, that is a thing. Cats do like to play with their food, but sometimes they might just decide not to. In any case, we toddled off to the party, 2 little mice looking for a good time. My senses are excellent, fortunately. Hearing is good, sense of smell is great, the eyes are decent, but it's hard to see much nearly an inch tall and your face is down at dirt level. Still, I was able to locate Darlene by the sound of her voice. She's talking to her friends about usual stuff, music, school, some cute guy on TV. Actually, I hid underneath Darlene's chair, I was able to hear everything pretty well. All I could see of her was this enormous chair roof over my head, stretched bands of hair on plastic, bulging down like they might burst and crush me. Quite distant so I could see her legs like 2 gigantic pink pillars. Well, this is boring, I said to Axe. What did you expect? I thought they'd be talking about me, naturally. A bit narcissistic of them, I'd say. Then it occurred to me, I could thought speak to Darlene. I could just say the word Marco in her head. She wouldn't know where it came from. She'd probably think someone had said it aloud. With thought speaking, you do it so everyone hears you, or you sort of aim it at one person. Marco, I said. What? Darlene said. What about Marco? Nothing about Marco, girl said. Good, because I don't even want to hear his name mentioned at his party. He's such a jerk. I mean, after what he did, throwing baby Ruth bars in my pool, panicking everyone. He's so mature, a girl named Ellen said. No duh, he thinks he's so cool and cute, but he's totally not. He makes jokes about stuff that aren't even funny. Well, I could stand him saying I was immature. That's what girls always say, but saying I wasn't funny. Oh, I'd show them funny. Oh, yes. I took off. I ran for her legs. Axe came after me yelling, what are we doing? We're just gonna see how good her sense of humor is, I yelled back. I ran for that big pink leg and saw the foot press down heavily on the grass. I shot past her heels like a wall to me and aimed for the toes. Let's just say this, she thinks it's perfect in every way, but her toenails definitely need trimming. I scared her right on her foot. I zoomed across her foot and scrabbled wildly along her ankle and back over the toes. That'll give her something to complain about. Ah! She started screaming. Up flew the foot, I jumped off just in time, and then she was out of there screaming and yelling like a total ninny. Naturally, I chased her, and naturally, Axe came with me. It was fun. I'm sorry, I know it was wrong, but man, it was cool. On this episode, Marco gets cancelled. Yeah. That is heard hands yelling about how he's gonna stomp me. That would never do. I didn't intend to be stomped by his big stinky foot. I heard Jake's big voice yelling, Cassie's weird but still annoyed voice. Ah man, Shake, I said, Axe, we're busted. I ran for cover, looking for a place to morph back. Big stomping feet were landing all around me. They were slow, but man, they were big. Everyone was overreacting. I mean, come on, just 2 inches long. How scary could I be? Then it occurred to me the house. We could run inside, run down to the basement, no one would be, morph back, and then... Well, there I'd be, just me and Andalite. That wouldn't look too weird. Axe, say we need to morph, then we do a human morph real quick, okay? I feel like Marco, that might not be a good idea. Nah, everything according to plan. Zoom over the threshold in the patio. Zoom in the house itself. Zoom past the hysterical Darlene, who was on a couch with a pillow over her head. Zoom over carpet to hit linoleum. Suddenly a sense of dark places. Mouse places. This is going to work. We ran across the step and leapt falling down to land the next step. Again and again, step after step on a speed that felt like we were flying rockets. It was so cool if you looked back, it was maybe a little bit stupid. Don't worry, I said that. I called the Jake and thought speaker in the basement. We're gonna demorph. Just make sure no one comes down looking for mice. We lost our pursuers. No one followed after us down the steps, and even as I ran, I started to demorph. I was halfway back to human, a strange mix of mouse and huge ears and human legs, like a scared-looking thing, like Mickey Mouse looked to be invented by Stephen King. Actually, even worse, half mouse and Andalite. I didn't invite you to a party. How do you get to the basement? Yeah, exactly. I guess he's just gonna play that by ear. And just as I was thinking, hey, this'll all be fine, the whole world just flew apart. Crunch. Sunlight streamed down, the entire roof been stripped away. The entire roof. Wooden beams and concrete just shattered and ripped and fell in huge chunks. I couldn't even make sense of it. I ran as the entire world around me was being shredded like the universe was run through a food processor. And then I saw it. It was gigantic, enormous. A creature seemed made of nothing but teeth and blades and destruction, like 20 Harbinger glued together and given dragon wings. It was ripping the house apart with unbelievable power. The noise is terrifying, the scream of ripping wood, the shattering crunch of concrete being torn up, just torn apart like nothing. Pipes were bending, wires were sizzling, and popping to explode into showers of sparks. "Look out," yelled Axe, my not-human voice. Beams are falling around us, splinters are flying through the air. I barely noticed I finished morphing. I was human again. Sunlight kept his concentration and was fully human as well. We were defenseless, two kids without weapons between us. Above our heads where the house had been seconds before, the beast hovered in the sun. It looked like us with a dozen weird eyes seemed to be stuck there and here and there at random. It stared us the way I'd seen Tobias stare at prey. It was going to destroy us. There's no question in my mind. There was no question that it could. Oh man, I moaned. I don't like this. And then all the eyes all flickered at once. It seemed uncertain. To my utter relief and amazement, it began to disperse. He became dust again. Just a cloud of dust that thinned and disappeared. I was shaking so badly I couldn't stand up. But I was alive. So, that happened. And now we're back with Rachel. Chapter 6 with Rachel. I woke up. I was on my back lying on a bed of pine needles and crispy dried leaves. I stared up the trees. The sun shone through branches. My first thought was, what am I doing here? I had no idea how I got into the woods or even what these woods were. What am I doing here? I said aloud, but the words were garbled and mangled, more screeched than words. I felt a tingle of fear. What was going on? What was going on? Why was I here? Why couldn't I talk? I shouldn't be here. I should be... Where? Where should I be? I tried to concentrate. Had I come here before? Where was I before? Where did I belong? But nothing came to me. Nothing. I couldn't remember how I'd gotten here. I couldn't remember where I'd been. Ever. Suddenly it hit me in a wave of dread that made my heart skip several beats. I didn't know who I was. I did not know my own name. I tried to sit up, and that's when I saw. I screamed in a weird, high-pitched shriek. My legs, they're encased in a black leotard. I could see the upper half of each leg was shaped like a normal one, but at the end, the bottom half suddenly changed shape. From the bottom, huge talons appeared. I looked at my hand, 5 fingers, human fingers, but they spread feathers. There were feathers sticking out of my flesh. I felt my face, skin on my cheeks and neck, but then bristling feathered fingers felt my mouth. A beak. A hard, tearing beak. It was a nightmare. That was us having a nightmare. I had to wake up. I tried to get out of this dream. I screamed again. The unhuman sound of my own voice frightened me more. I had to control the panic. I had to. My legs, my face, and hands. Don't panic over myself. You will not panic. You will not panic. This is not real. But I felt the pine needles beneath me and the warmth of the sun as it laced through the branches. It all felt real. Was this how I was? Some sort of half-bird, half-human freak? No, I knew that was wrong. I knew people didn't become birds, but here I was with feathers and a beak and no remembering who I was. I looked like some sort of horrible creatures halfway from changing the bird to human, or the other way around. Was that it? I began to process changing one to the other, and which was I really? Who was I? What was I? Come on over myself, get a grip, get a grip. But I could feel the screams blowing up inside. I could scream and scream and scream. No, start that and you may never stop, I thought. Use your head. Think. I strained to remember as half my brain was wrapped in dense fog. I couldn't see through it, no matter how I tried. You're human, I told myself silently. You're human, not a bird. If you can change this far, maybe you can change more. So I closed my eyes. I wanted to concentrate. I didn't want to see my body. Terror rattled through me, shaking my bones, churning my insides. I was human. I wanted to be entirely human. Human again. And then I felt the changes of my eyes as I watched the town shriveled and split and became toes. It was revolting and watching me sick, but then I realized, as soon as I lost concentration, the changes stopped. That was it. I must have been changing and something broke my concentration. I could not stay the way I was. That was a nightmare. I had to get out. I felt a shadow over the sun. I thought it was a passing cloud, and I didn't let myself be distracted. I focused. I wanted to be human. I felt the feathers melt into my skin, while my beak became soft and lips. The sun was very dim now. Something was blocking it. I felt a chill and looked up. Just above the trees, a cloud of dust swirled wild like a flattened tornado. It swirled and concentrated. A dust cloud, but not really. As I lay there, I had a terrible feeling this swirling, thickening cloud was watching me, considering me, focusing on me. But I couldn't allow myself to be distracted. I wasn't fully human, and I wanted to be human again. Maybe once I was human, I could remember who I was. So the main villain of this book is the weather. It seems so, at least so far. Chapter 7 with Tobias. I'd seen a lot of strange things at first eating and walked through the construction site with the Andalite Prince had landed his damaged fighter. But back then I was just a kid, a boy, a dork I guess. It was getting hard to remember, but I guess I was a dweeb. I remember when I met Jake before he stepped in to save me from a... I remember that I met Jake because he stepped in to save me from some punks who wanted to flush my head in the toilet. And, well, a lot's changed since then. I gotten so I could deal with being what I am now, so the fact I'm no longer completely human, but that's not a hawk either. Not completely. Like I said, I've seen strange things. Nothing stranger when I saw that morning as I floated in the high thermals a mile over Darlene's house. See, I was flying cover. That's one of the ways I'm helping my friends. Marco hadn't asked me to do this for his idiotic little escapade, but I figured I'd better. Besides Dark Eaton, a small snake, unusual delicacy, I had nothing else to do but to catch a thermal and ride it up. The thermals updraft of warm air. You spread your wings and lift you like an elevator. Once you're up, you can float there forever. You barely have to flap your wings. So it's up pretty high enough I could see everything from the edge of the woods to the south all the way to the center of the city a few miles away. But I stayed low enough I could watch Marco and Axe morph. They ran like fools, they got a grip of their mouse brains, and I gained control I set off purposely toward Darlene's house. Marco is an extremely smart guy. I don't know if Axe smart or an Andalite, but he's pretty smart by human standards. Neither of them really understood how dangerous it was to be a mouse walking openly across a suburban lawn in broad daylight. You might as well just tie raw stakes to your legs and go for a walk with a wolf pack. Hawks kill mice. Cats kill mice. And let me tell you something, two groups of animals you don't want chasing you are hawks and cats. From the air, I observed one fat tabby cat and spotted them from watching by. But I guess he was full or feeling too lazy lying out in the sun. The cat left him by undisturbed. I spotted a Cooper's hawk checking him out. He's definitely thinking about mouse for lunch. I signaled if they were my prey and he backed off. Fortunately, I was bigger than he was, so he wasn't that hungry. I watched as Marco and Axe reached Darlene's pool party. I relaxed. If they didn't get stepped on, they'd probably be safe. Still watching the party made me a little sad. The people seem to be having a good time. Kids are splashing pool and running around yelling and talking. It's a whole different universe than the one I lived in now. I dare Animorphs and Axe for friends, but I didn't have friends like myself. Hawks don't exactly have parties. Mostly seen her hawk, it means a trouble, a fight for territory. Down below I saw him chasing some girl. Good grief, I thought. Why am I not surprised? The girl ran inside the house. Marco and Axe ran after her, trailing a posse of guys, one of whom was clearly Jake. Then we began seeing something bizarre. A dust storm, or that's what it looked like. One of those little dust storms came up in desert prairie. It felt like a compact tornado. I was fascinated because the wind is very important to me. It's life or death sometimes. The tornado was getting tighter, more solid. I strained my eyes to see every detail. I spilled air from my wings and swooped lower. And then... it wasn't a dust cloud anymore. It was a creature, made up of gnashing mouths and whirling blades. It dived the house, ripping apart like it was made of Legos. It seemed to be chewing its way through brick and wood and shingle, like watching a garbage disposal grind up a carrot. The kids were screaming and running this way and that. Suddenly half the house was gone. Just gone. I could see straight to the basement. Straight down Marco, human again, acts as human morph. I folded my wings back and dived like a rocket. Maybe I could distract this monster, but for no apparent reason began to dissolve. I pulled up sharply, still a few hundred feet up. I could see Marco practically faint from relief. Axe didn't look too happy either, but they were both alive. And Jake and Cassie both just staring up in horror. The beast dissolved into a cloud again, the human eye wouldn't see anything after that, but I didn't have human eyes. I saw the cloud disperse, but I saw the individual particles streaming away toward the forest. The particles moving at incredible speed, not blown by wind, I was sure of that. They were moving on their own, very fast, toward the woods. So, Chapter 8 with Rachel. Human, be human. I focused all my power on that one thought. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to remember who I was, what I looked like. I felt my body change. It was a horrible sensation. I could hear bones crunching and feel a sudden nausea as my stomach reappeared. I seemed to be an itch all over as flesh absorbed feathers. Had I done this before? It didn't seem possible. It was disgusting and grotesque. I opened my eyes, and right above me, what was it? Mouths with needle-sharp teeth, staring eyes, and whirling blades. It was after me. Should I fly? Should I run? What was I? I leapt up, hoping I had legs. I could run. Yes, I ran. My bare feet flashed ahead of me. Human feet, my arms pumped, but they felt odd. The bones were still connected wrong. I ran. Over pine needles stabbed the tender soles of my feet. It was behind me. It chewed through a tree 4 feet thick. It chewed up and left splinters and sawdust behind. No, I screamed. My voice was almost human. No, it was after me. It wanted to kill me. Why? What had I done? Who was I? This monster wanted to destroy me. I raced as fast as I could, but it was faster still. The entire trees ripped from the ground to make way for it. The very ground was ripped up as by some huge plow. The shrieking of destruction was all around me. What was happening to me? Help me, I screamed, and now my voice is truly human. The last of changes were occurring. My arms pumped smoothly now. My eyes looked up past the normal human nose. The beak was gone, but the beast, it was on me. Suddenly there was a road and cars flashing by. I ran for the road, the beast pursued me, ripping a path through the woods. Cars zooming past, I ran on the road, they'd hit me, but if I stopped, the beast would devour me. I ran. Shroom! A car shot past, missing by inches. 6 lanes, a freeway. I ran against hope to survive. Horns, blaring horns, a truck, the beast. Hit the truck, or the truck hit it, I didn't know which. The cabin of the truck was just crumpled. I saw a flash of driver yelling frankly, working the steering wheel. Then the trailer part, the part that said Ben and Jerry, slamming a dust beast. There was screeching of wheels, screaming, and then wham! I tripped and went sprawling to a median strip. I rode down a grassy slope into dirty water. Looked up and I see a truck turn over and skid wildly down the freeway, spraying sparks. The beast shredded the trailer, just shredded, with pints of ice cream exploded around like hand grenades. In the middle of the terror, I was pelted by pints of cherry Garcia and wavy gravy ice cream. The beast rose in a truck, the driver climbed out of the cab and ran. As the beast rose in the air, 100 manic eyes looked around. It saw me. There's no doubt about that. It saw me. But the eyes seemed confused and lost. The beast saw me, but it didn't seem to recognize me. Suddenly, as I cowered in a ditch of the median strip, it simply dissolved into dust. Dissolved and blew away. The traffic had stopped in all 6 lanes as people hung out of their windows when a speck of a tractor trailer lying across the road. I climbed shakily out of the ditch. I was trimming so bad I could barely stand. I was muddy and wet and barefoot, wearing a black leotard. I was thrown across the road toward sheltering woods. A man with a camcorder emerged from his car and taping the wreck. From far off the wail of a siren. I just wanted to get away. Whoever I was. Chapter 9 with Cassie. Tornado my butt, Marcus angrily. That thing was alive. We were watching TV in my living room. Jake, Marco, and Accent is human morph and me, Cassie. It was afternoon. My parents weren't home yet, so we were safe talking freely. The news doing a special report. They broke into a talk show to show a film of what they described as a freak tornado. Their show was left at Darlene's house. The reporter was staying right next to where we had the pool party. You could see Darlene in the background of her parents speaking for the wreckage. The storm hit late this morning, just before noon, the reporter said. So many people are having a pool party and described a sort of funnel cloud here quite suddenly out of a clear sky. Some of the kids who were here actually described it as seeing a monster or beast, but of course they were very frightened at the time. They were frightened, alright, Marco muttered. They were wetting their pants. I'd know. The house is virtually destroyed, the reporter went on. Almost miraculously, there are only some minor injuries. So few of the kids suffered abrasions or minor cuts. The house itself was fully insured. That's a good thing, Marco said dryly, because there's a lot more than a paint job needed here. Now we go to the freeway where the same tornado, or possibly a second tornado, destroyed a tractor trailer holding up traffic for hours. The screen showed Ben Jerry's ice cream truck like it was blown apart by a bomb. Suddenly, I saw something from here. Hey, look, I said. What, Jake asked. It's gone now, I said. Are we taping this? Yeah, Marco said. What is it? Back the tape up. Back it up. He reversed the tape and I watched the camera pan back across the wreck, and then, right there, that girl, see? She's only in the shot for a second. Can you freeze frame her? Why? Jake asked. What is it? Marco rewound and advanced tape a frame at a time. A blurry figure appeared. It froze. What's the matter? Axe asked. Matter. He could be always in human form. Having a mouth and making sounds just fascinates him. Look at that girl. Tall, blonde hair, barefoot, wearing a black leotard. Jake's eyes widened in recognition, so did Marco's. Oh my god, Marco whispered. Yes, it's Rachel. It has to be. She must have come out of morph, I said. That's her morphing suit. And being barefoot and all. See, when we morph, we can't morph much clothing, just saying skin tight. And shoes? Forget those. I tried morphing shoes, and it looked like an entire pack of dogs played tug of war with them. What's Rachel doing out there, Jake demanded? She's supposed to be up in the mountains at camp. You know what this means, Marco demanded. That thing came after asking me also right after where Rachel is. Coincidence? I don't think so. Jake shook his head. Not a coincidence. He looked at Axe. Do you know what this is? No, Axe said. I do not. It's not any race I've ever heard of, but I agree it's no coincidence. Coincidence. Well, what is it? Marco demanded angrily. I don't think it's how VCRs work. They can actually. I remember using one when I was younger. You can rewind and everything, and then you can just sort of pause it, and if you push pause again, I think it'll advance a frame. So it's not really made for it, but it can do that. As for why she's wearing a leotard, it's because that's her morphing outfit. It's just what she turns into when she's done morphing. That's just what happens every time. They can't morph anything other than that because it's skin tight. Anyway. Tobias tilted his head toward the forest at high speed, I said. It was heading for Rachel. The timing's right, the location's right. Attacking Marco and Axe stopped and went after Rachel. Why? What's the point? If it's some Yerk weapon, it should have finished us off. I mean, it had Axe to be cold. We need to talk to Rachel, Jake said. Cassie? I'll call. I went to the phone, the one in the kitchen. I dialed Rachel's number, probably dialed that number every day for years. A third ring. Hello? Hi, Jordan. Rachel's younger sister. Is Rachel home? Doc Cash at the gymnastics thing, the camp. I felt something in my spine. So did she go? Sure. She didn't come back early or anything? No, why? It's not the matter. Nah, I was just thinking, maybe... Never mind. Later. I hung up the phone and took several deep breaths. I didn't want to alarm the others. I'm back to the living room. Margot's still yelling at the guy on TV. It wasn't a tornado. Are people blind? A tornado does not have teeth. Jake saw me first. I tried to conceal the fear, but I couldn't hide anything from Jake. He knows me too well. What is it? He asked. Rachel. She isn't home. They think she went to camp. Everyone just stared for a moment, then Rachel around to take and play it back. Tall, blonde, model's body, wearing a black leotard and no shoes. It was Rachel, and she was definitely not at camp. Chapter 10 with Rachel. I spent hours just walking in the woods, walking and trying to remember. Who was I? What was I? I didn't know. My mind wouldn't answer me. I remembered how to walk. I remembered what things are called. Knew the sky was blue, the moon was white, the ocean's deep, and winter's colder in summer. I knew all the background things of life. It's like watching a TV show. You could see all the sets, but the characters are invisible. Of me, of who I was and what I was, I knew nothing. Or not quite nothing. I knew I was some sort of freak. I knew I could have feathers and beak and legs of a bird. I knew I had some terrible enemy. The pine needles and fallen branches made walking painful, but what else could I do? What was best to go? Something was hunting me. Who could I trust? Answer me, I yelled at no one but the trees. Who am I? The sound of my own voice reminded me I had to be careful. The beast in the sky might be out there, might be looking for me. I walked up in the clouds to look for my memory. I knew I had amnesia. I remembered the word amnesia, but how did it happen? That I couldn't remember. I stayed very close to the highway and sliced through the forest. I could see flash of cars through trees a few hundred yards off to my right. But I stayed deep enough in the woods that no one from the road could see me. I couldn't afford to be seen, not until I knew what danger I was in. And then amidst all the greens and browns of the forest, I saw something bright yellow, deeper in the woods, a few hundred yards deeper. I crouched low and walked on bent legs toward a splash of yellow. I moved as quietly as I could, placing each barefoot carefully. It was a shack. The yellow was a cotton-ribbed top, for the limited probably. I froze. What? The limited? What'd that mean? I squeezed my eyes shut. A store. It was a store. Clothing. Tables covered in folded tops in bright colors. I was there, was shopping with... I knew there was someone with me. I could feel the fact that someone was with me. But I couldn't see anymore. The memory fragment was only a brief snippet at a time. It told me nothing. I went back at the shack. It was built a long time ago. It made a log, some which were rotted out. Had I been here before? It felt familiar. This place, a place like it, but no. I was probably imagining things. The yellow top was hanging on a clothesline. I duck walked left to see the front doorway is open, but there's no light inside the cabin. Should I? Could I take the risk? If you want to return the item, you'll need a receipt, a voice said. Ah! I yelled and spun around. A woman. Old, but... No, not so old, just shabby. Wearing so many layers of clothing she looked fat, but she wasn't. She was thin, dragging a bulging canvas bag. Not a threat. I forced her to calm down, tried to let the gym and adrenaline flow out. My heart was pounding, my muscles were tense. You'll need a receipt, the woman said again. She stared at me in a challenging way and held out her hand. What? I said, do you know me? If you want to return the item, you'll need a receipt, she said. She said it precisely the way she had the first time, an identical inflection. She was insane. I don't have a receipt, I said. She looked past me at something, or nothing, and then headed back to the shack. I don't know why, but I followed her. She was ill, but she didn't seem dangerous. I wasn't exactly normal myself. I didn't know what I expected to find inside the shack, but it was a shock. Clothing. Piles of it 3 feet high, in every corner clothing. Much of it was dirty, filthy, but some of it was stained or burned, some seemed fine. The mad woman ignored me. She opened her dirty canvas bag and piling up more items of clothing, stained shirts, ripped jeans, one old sneaker. Excuse me, I said, ma'am? If you want to return the item, you'll need a receipt. Can you tell me your name? She stopped sorting her clothing. She turned a sly grin toward me. My name? Or its name? We are two, not one. Yes, if you want to return an item, your name, please. It's gone now, she said craftily, but they'll be back. Oh yes, they'll be back. They never go away forever. I guess I might have been frustrated, I might have been annoyed, but I knew what it was like to have your brain betray you. Who's all this clothing belong to? Mine, she shrieked suddenly. It's mine! It's mine! Okay, it's yours. I found it all. People throw it away. It's mine! Yes, it's yours, but I'm wondering, I don't have any shoes, but I thought maybe you could let me borrow some? Will that be cash, credit, check, or credit card? I had an idea. Maybe it's a little stupid, maybe even cruel. I bent down and picked up a chunk of pine bark. I held it out. Credit card. She took it, shook in confusion, looked up at me. There's something lost and desperate in her eyes. Is this the store? She asked. It's your store? She forced a shaky smile. Let me know if I can help you find anything. I will. I began digging for the nearest pile of clothing. Shoes were stuck here and there. I dug each out, one by one, and set them on a pile on the floor. I needed a size 5. So far I had mostly men's shoes. Are you one of them? She asked. One of what, ma'am? The others. The ones that live in your head. I don't think so. I was focused on my search. There's only one way I know for sure, said in a soft, silky voice. Success. One size 6 Reebok, one size 5 Converse. They weren't exactly matched, but they're better than being barefoot. I heard a creak of rusty hinges behind me and turned to look. The woman opened a trap door on the floor of the shack. I started to rise to my crouch holding the shoes, and then... Something hit me from behind. I tried to suck in breath with a blow and empty my lungs. She was all over me, clawing, scratching, and shoving and screaming, "Yerk! Yerk! Yerk!" I struggled to fend her off, but she was strong and driven by her insane vision. I fell down through the hole in the floor. "Yerk! Yerk!" she screamed. I landed dirt and were recovering quickly and leaping back to the opening, but the hatch slammed down. I ducked just in time. Yerk! Yerk! Flash, a gray sludgy pool, an underground cavern, something in the pool, swimming, many somethings, seething just below the surface like fish, but no, slugs, gray slugs. Yerk! My head swam into sudden vision, but I couldn't focus. I had to get out. I pounded on the splintery wood of the hatch. "Lady, let me out of here, let me out. I don't want to hurt you." No answer. I looked around. It wasn't a basement, just a space beneath the shack. Maybe long ago it had been some kind of escape, or maybe it was a place to store food for the winter, but I had a feeling of great age. It was hard-packed dirt on three sides. The fourth was a wall of vertical logs. I could see through the gaps of the logs, so I couldn't see a way out. "Lady, let me out of here. I'm not going to hurt you." She spoke in a much quieter voice. "No, no, you don't want to hurt me. You just want to crawl inside my head like you did before. Crawl inside my head. Make me give you my husband. Make me give him to you, my children. All for you. All for you. Controlling me in my head. But you died, didn't you, Yerk?" I felt a terrible coldness. She was insane. And yet, why did her raving mean something? That word, Yerk, it meant something to me. Something evil. Was I crazy too? Was that the truth I was hiding from myself?